Dr. Jason W. Mason at the gym again. Just doing some morning workout stuff. We've got torrential rain here, flooding, you name it. So we get in the gym and, well, we go to the gym anyway, but we're doing a little bit more lately. 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. I want to continue my talk on the subject of the fading art. The last talk was the lost art, but I don't think it's completely lost. So I've weakened the title to the fading art of navigating masculinity. And what we're finding is because of the undermining of masculine discipline and its conclusions as to why it might need to be put in place is an issue of conflict, because when you think about things of discipline and trying to make things right, we always tend to the side of what's gentle, what's the easy way, what's not going to hurt anybody, etc. But that's not always the best way out. Sometimes that can enable. Let me give you an example. At work, if my boys don't perform and they continue to do the same things the wrong way when there's a system and they know what the system is, they'll be chastised once. If they willfully, not ignorantly, because once you know something and you're not doing it, that's willful. If they willfully persist to change the system to suit themselves, they'll be confronted and they'll be reshown, and action will be expected, correction will be expected for the benefit of everyone, because what they're trying to do is benefit an easy way out or an opposite way out to suit themselves. On the third time, it's 3 strikes and you're out, you're gone, because tolerance is lost. If you're being fair with somebody and you're trying to help them, you're trying to show them, you've told them what you expect, you told them how you feel about it, you've told them what it's going to do to you and the people around you if it happens again, and they continue to do it, then it's time for them to go. It's as simple as that. Now, when you're in a relationship and you pass the limerence or honeymoon stage, limerence is the honeymoon stage. It's the technical, psychological word for the honeymoon stage. When you're past the limerence stage and you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of whether you can get along together or not, you're at the stage where if you don't let that person know exactly what aggravates you or doesn't aggravate you, and it's fair, it's got to be fair, and they continue to do the thing that you don't like, you've got to ask yourself. I've known people that have been in marriages for 20 years on the end of behaviour that they didn't like, and explained why they didn't like it, and it was all fair, but the person went on to do it for 20 years. That could be alcohol, drugs. Some people let loyalty and faithfulness blind them from the life that they should be living now. And I look, to be honest with you, I don't know why they do that, whether it be self-esteem, whether there's something beyond the intimacy of the relationship that they're looking for out of it, maybe a financial advantage, maybe children, whatever the reason. If you don't set your boundaries and believe in them, or if you have boundaries and don't believe in them and you're just accepting anything, your mental health will decline because you're opposing yourself. So I was just speaking to one of my ex-wives the other night, and she said that she's got a friend who's good at what she does, that she uses as an employee every now and then, but she keeps letting it down. I said, how many times has she let you down? And she started telling me about all these different times, and I said, you need to stop. When we come into, I said to her, when we come into our situation where it was time for us to split due to a maternal interference, children interfering, I said, how long did I let it go on for? And her reply was, you didn't. You dealt with it straight away, and that was me and my son having to move out. She goes, I realise what happened now, and I regret what happened. And I understand why it went the way it did, because maternal nature is like a bushfire or a flood. It'll come through, it'll wreck everything. And then when the waters recede or the fire's gone, a few months later, shoots start to grow again and the green grass starts to come back and things start to mend. Well, when women go maternal, it's the same kind of thing. It takes time for them to recover and get back to see the positive side of things, which they will. And so, yeah, she said, you dealt with it straight away. I said, how many turns are you going to give this woman before you realise that she's damaging your, not only your business, but your reputation and the way in which people are going to perceive what your performance will be like. And what she's also going to do is make customers dependent on you, and you won't be able to network your business, multiply it, expand. She's actually ruining your business. And I said, that's exactly what you were doing to my life. When you couldn't see that all you had to do was just try and pull those children into line just a little bit. It was only going to take a little twist. And you left me vulnerable and in a position where I didn't even have the authority really to be involved. I tried to support you and you abandoned me. I said, how long do you think I was going to put up with that for? So I dealt with it as gently, and then in the end I had to deal with it harshly. And it wasn't till some months of rebellion, she went into rebellion, opposite directional dysfunctional disorder, and come to her senses and realised the damage that she had done and the way in which it had worked against her life. We get along now, and I knew that was going to happen, but the damage that she's done since then is almost irreparable. So then you've got to look at the situation you're in. If you're in a relationship where you're asking for reason, you're asking for compromise, you're negotiating terms to try and fix the issue, you're you're giving and taking. I can't think of the proper word for that. You're giving and taking. And yet the person's persisting to continue in the problem. They're continuing to aggravate you. Now, it might not be as much. It might be more subtle and it might be more clever. But they're continuing. How far can your tolerance go? How far should your tolerance go? How far should your understanding go? How far should your graciousness go? How far should your mental health go? Because a lot of people have mental health issues because of the uncompliance of a person that they've gotten in a relationship with. That's what happens. It's a passive form of abuse. Somebody's just aggravating a relationship and there's no need for it. That's passive aggressive abuse. It's covert abuse. So what I'm trying to say is a lot of women today, they don't have the aware of in their mind. They've bounced around to so many men and been abused, allowed themselves to be abused, so they become the abusers as well, where they don't have healthy navigatable boundaries. And when you say something like, please don't let the children interfere, be a mother, but don't let them interfere at such and such a level, and they continue to, they're not listening, they're not willing. There's no value for what you're saying, which means there's no value for you. So you need to start calling it. I've got a son that's been in a relationship with a girl and it's been absolute hell. But he wouldn't stand by what he believed in and he allowed himself to be abused. I've just had another relationship with a lovely woman, but what happened was she began to let her golden child interfere in our arrangements, and I wouldn't have that. She was warned, we broke up, she was warned, come back, did exactly the same thing, gone. And then said, I thought everything was all right. So that shows you that a lot of people are out of touch with what they're involving themselves in. They're out of touch with the person they're involved in. They're not on a level of awareness. They're just turning up and thinking that their physical attributes are enough to keep that person tied down or interested. What you've got to understand is physical aspects will keep people interested, but they won't keep people convinced. I'm going to say that again. Physical attributes will keep people interested, but over the long term, they're not going to keep people convinced. Behaviour, responses, cooperation, all these different attributes that work in a relationship are what keep them together. So when negligence and laziness comes in, somebody's going to go. Otherwise, you move into the realm of mental health disorders where your mind's just being twisted and bent for so long and so badly and so negligently by trying to get on with this person that you deplete, diminish, and the next thing you know, you're getting help and they're just going along with what they do, leaving their trail of destruction behind them. One of the most dangerous situations you can find yourself in is when you're dealing with a mother and a children, because she will find security in her children. There's no such thing as a single mother, because the children will be her company and security. There is such a thing as a lonely mother with children, but there's no such thing as a single mother, because her children are her emotional means of support, security, and other stuff that's going to enable her to not have the essential full capacity of need for the man. So if the man starts to challenge, because children will challenge in selfish ways, man, we should and usually will challenge in constructive ways to keep strength in the relationship that's going to benefit both parties. So when the man's trying to bring reason and understanding and it's being opposed, you have to be aware that that's a test. And it's a test to see if she can get away with it or not. And if you encourage her to be able to get away from it by not roping it in, then you've set the stage for demise. The art of masculine or the fading art of masculinity or masculine discipline is growing, and the results and consequences of it are devastating. Learn to be able to read your partner in a way in which is going to benefit the relationship, not just yourself. But do the work and be the best version of yourself that you can, and let the lazy ones, the ones that have not got the character to be in a wholesome relationship, find their way somewhere else, because they'll just repeat. They'll repeat, and they'll have a big, long trail of destruction behind them like a bushfire or a flood. Don't be in that trail of destruction. This is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.